How many times have you heard as a triathlete or runner, you need a strong core stability, core this, core that. Yet nobody explains why you need a strong core that makes sense without using all fluffy words. And secondly, when they explain exercises to do, you don't really see how they're going to actually help with your swim, bike and run, particularly your run. And that's what I want to talk about today. There's something that we call dissociating. And we see triathletes and runners typically be very poor at this. It slows you down when you're running and it increases your risk of a whole host of things, back pain, Achilles pain. So if we can solve it, it's a massive victory on two fronts. So dissociating is essentially, can you move at your hip independently of your trunk, your lower back? If you can't, what will happen is when your leg raises up during the recovery phase of your running, when it's off the floor, your lower back will move at the same time, i.e. your hip and your back move together. When actually what we want, or what you want to run more efficiently and safely, is when that hip moves, you want your trunk, your lower back to stay nice and rigid and stable. To do that, you need to be able to use your core. So with some exercises like planking and whatnot, which have their place and they can be super, with this, we can't just hold a position, we need to make sure that we're having movement through the legs, but still something that taxes the core to keep your trunk stable. Exercise that we love is something called a dead bug. It looks really easy, but trust me, if you can do it right, it is incredibly difficult, but super effective at solving this problem. So, essentially you'll lie on your back, and the first thing that you'll do before moving your leg out will be you'll pull your core, you'll pull your ribs, squeeze them tight into the ground. And then gently you'll extend one of your legs, nice and straight, out to the floor. And what we like to do is just have your heel touch something like a foam roller or maybe a rolled up towel, just so you don't go too far and pull yourself out of position. What we're emphasising here is to be able to use that core strength to stabilise the trunk, so you've got no movement there, although while your hip is moving, in exactly the same thing that we talked about when you're running. And we know that if you can master this, which most people can't to begin with, all of a sudden then that starts to transfer very easily into your running. So when you run, you use that core strength to stabilise your trunk while your hip is moving during the normal pattern of running at the same time. So dissociation is the word that we use to describe the way that you can use core strength training to instantly impact your running, your triathlon in the most positive way possible.